At the dawn of the multiverse, before the creation of universes and the entities that govern them, there existed a primordial force known as the Absolute Existence. This being, beyond the notions of time, space, and mortality, created two twin entities as representations of the fundamental principles of cosmic balance: absolute stability and constant evolution. Zeno-sama, the embodiment of absolute stability, was designed as the central axis of the multiverse, capable of preserving balance and exercising control over existence itself. His essence is unchanging, his power immeasurable, and his innocent mindset makes him a neutral force, one that does not discriminate between good and evil when making decisions. On the other hand, his brother Goku, the embodiment of constant evolution, was created as the engine of change, embodying growth, challenge, and transcendence. As the catalyst to propel the multiverse toward new horizons, Absolute Existence decided that he would incarnate as a member of the Saiyan race, a species renowned for its ability to evolve through combat. However, Goku's latent power was quickly detected by the god of destruction Beerus, who, recognizing his true nature, brought him before the Grand Priest to be trained in his rightful place, alongside his brother Zeno-sama. Together, they grew up in the immense palace of the King of All, surrounded by radiant lights and impossible structures that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Though their purposes were different, their bond was unbreakable. The palace of Zeno and Goku was an immense place filled with radiant lights and impossible structures that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Zeno's guardians, always serious and vigilant, worked hard to maintain order while the two brothers wreaked havoc within. Come on, Zenny! Catch me if you can! I'm going to beat you this time, Goku-ni-chan! The Guardians, stoic in appearance, exchanged weary glances. One of them, a tall being clad in golden armor, finally sighed. I don't understand how they can have so much energy all the time. It's Goku-sama. Ever since he arrived, Zeno-sama hasn't stopped acting like a child. Meanwhile, Goku zipped between the columns at full speed, dodging Zeno, who was trying to catch him using interdimensional portals. However, with his innate speed and reflexes, Goku easily evaded the portals, teasing his brother with laughter. You'll have to do better, Zenny! Aren't you the king of everything? That's not fair! You're faster than the portals! Suddenly, Goku landed right in front of one of the Guardians, who barely had time to react. What's wrong, Mr. Serious? Does it bother you that we're playing? The Guardian tries to maintain his composure, but his tone betrayed his frustration. Goku-sama, this is a sacred place. You should behave with more dignity. But it's so boring! Goku-ni-chan makes everything more fun. Goku and Zeno began laughing together, and although the Guardians tried not to show it, one of them let out a small smile before returning to his rigid stance. Maybe a little chaos here isn't so bad once in a while. Suddenly, Goku stopped and gazed into the palace's horizon. He had sensed something, a spark of curiosity igniting his spirit. Hey Zenny, don't you ever get bored of being here all the time? Bored? What do you mean? Well, of all this, what if we explore other places? There's a whole multiverse out there full of strong people. Zeno blinked several times, confused, but then his face lit up with a smile. That sounds great, but will they let us go? The Guardians tensed at the suggestion, but Goku, with a determined look and a mischievous sparkle in his eyes, was already plotting how to convince them. The Guardians exchanged worried glances as Goku and Zeno continued excitingly discussing their idea to venture into the multiverse. One of the Guardians, the oldest and wisest of the group, stepped forward with a grave expression. Zeno-sama, Goku-sama, exploring the multiverse is not a game. There are entities and forces out there that could threaten even the stability of everything. Zeno crossed his arms and frowned like a child annoyed. But Goku-ni-chan is really strong! Nobody can beat him! Goku, always relaxed, scratched his head with a carefree smile. Well, I don't know about everyone, but it'll sure be fun to try. The second Guardian, clearly more nervous, spoke in a more urgent tone. Zeno-sama, we understand you trust Goku-sama, but the multiverse is full of unknown dangers. Not just for you, but for creation itself. Zeno puffed his cheeks, clearly upset, and pointed at the Guardian with a small but imposing finger. And what does it matter? I can erase anyone who misbehaves. The silence in the hall was absolute. The Guardians exchanged looks of sheer terror. Goku, for his part, burst into laughter. That's the spirit, Zenny! But hey, maybe don't erase everyone, okay? It wouldn't be fun if there were no opponents left to fight." The veteran guardian placed a hand over his face, sighing deeply. "Zeno-sama, please understand that your power should not be used recklessly." Zeno turned to Goku, ignoring the guardians.
"See, Goku-ni-chan, we can go without any problems. You fight, and I'll take care of everything with my power."
Goku crossed his arms, looking at Zeno with a knowing smile. "Alright, but no erasing anyone while I'm around. I prefer to earn my victories by fighting." Zeno nodded enthusiastically.
"Deal!"
The guardians looked at the two brothers with resignation. Clearly, there was no stopping them. "Do you think this will be the end of universal balance?" "If anyone can keep Zeno-sama in check, it's Goku-sama. Let's just hope the multiverse is ready for them." As Zeno continued bouncing with excitement and Goku stretched his arms upwards, mentally preparing for the adventure ahead, the imposing figure of the Grand Priest entered the hall, moving with a calmness that contrasted sharply with the brothers' overflowing energy. His voice resonated with serenity, but also with an authority only he could command. "Zeno-sama, Goku-sama, may I ask what you are planning now?" Zeno stopped abruptly and turned to him, wearing a childish smile.
"We're going to explore the multiverse! Goku-ni-chan wants to find the strongest people and fight them! Isn't that exciting, Grand Priest?"
The Grand Priest raised an eyebrow, his expression remaining impassive. Then he turned his gaze to Goku, who was still stretching and smiling with a mischievous glint in his eyes. "And what is your plan, Goku-sama? To roam all the universes in search of challenges?" "Something like that. Zeno wants to come with me, and I thought it'd be awesome to find the strongest ones and see how far I can go. Besides, I think Zenny wants to have a bit of fun too." The Grand Priest closed his eyes for a moment, as if searching for patience. "Zeno-sama, you are the king of everything. Your responsibility is to ensure the harmony of the multiverse, not to use it as a playground for your whims."
"But Grand Priest, Goku-ni-chan says it'll be fun, and I want to see."
"Goku-sama, I understand your competitive spirit, but you cannot traverse the multiverse challenging every powerful being you encounter. The consequences could be unpredictable." Goku crossed his arms, thinking for a moment, then smiled. "Come on, Grand Priest. You know I won't cause trouble. I just want to see what the strongest can do. Besides, if anything gets out of hand, Zenny can fix it, right?" The Grand Priest looked at them with a mixture of exasperation and resignation. He knew that convincing Zeno was nearly impossible, and with Goku as his brother and protector, the decision was practically made. "Very well. But if you insist on this, I will set some rules." Zeno clapped his hands excitedly.
"Yes, rules, rules!"
"First, I will accompany you on this journey, not as a participant, but as a guarantor that the balance of the multiverse is not destroyed." Goku laughed, scratching the back of his head. "That's fine, Grand Priest, but you don't need to worry so much. We're just gonna have fun." "Having fun, Goku-sama, in your case, always involves chaos. Second, Zeno-sama is not allowed to erase anything unless it's strictly necessary for the safety of the multiverse."
All right.
"And third, if at any moment a situation threatens the balance of a universe, we will immediately halt the journey." Goku and Zeno nodded in unison, while the guardians in the corner sighed with relief. The Grand Priest inclined his head slightly, his tone softening. "If this adventure is what you desire, Zeno-sama, we will do everything possible to ensure it's safe." Zeno raised his arms in a victorious gesture.
"Then let's go already! Goku-ni-chan, let's find the strongest ones!"
Goku turned to Zeno, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "Yes! The multiverse is full of surprises, Zenny!" The Grand Priest raised his hand calmly, opening a portal that began to shine with multiversal energy. As the two brothers prepared to step through, the guardians bid them farewell nervously. The Grand Priest, with his usual serene demeanor, crossed his arms and looked at them inquisitively. "Very well. Where do you wish to begin this journey?" Zeno, with his childlike energy, jumped up and down excitedly.
"I want to see Goku-ni-chan face the strongest ones! That will be fun!"
The Grand Priest nodded slowly, reflecting for a moment. "In that case, I believe Universe 11 will be an ideal place to start. Among its ranks is the famous Jiren, a warrior whose strength has been compared to that of the gods themselves." Goku leapt up, clearly thrilled by the mention of a new opponent. "Jiren, huh? Sounds interesting."
Jiren! Let's go, Grand Priest!
The Grand Priest raised his hand calmly, opening a portal that began to glow with a unique multiversal energy, a mix of golden and blue hues dancing within it. This portal will take you directly to Universe 11, to the planet where Jiren and the Pride Troopers reside. However, remember, though this is a journey of learning and entertainment, you must not forget that each universe has its rules and balance. Goku nodded, already ready to step through the portal. Sure. I won't cause any trouble, I promise. Zeno grabbed Goku's hand, eager to jump through the portal.
Let's go, Goku-ni-chan. I want to see you send him flying with your punches.
Very well, Zeno-sama. Be careful. I will follow to supervise. Goku and Zeno leapt into the portal, disappearing in its glow. The Grand Priest followed shortly after, ensuring the stability of their multiversal journey. The portal transported them directly to the heart of Universe 11, a vast rocky desert where Jiren was training alone. His imposing figure and serene aura stood out against the landscape. When Jiren sensed the trio's arrival, he turned slowly, his serious gaze falling first on Goku, then on Zeno, and finally on the Grand Priest. Who are you? Jiren held his firm stance, crossing his arms as he observed the newcomers attentively. His piercing eyes showed neither surprise nor fear. Who are you, and why are you here? The atmosphere grew tense for a moment. Goku and the Grand Priest exchanged glances. Their seriousness contrasted with Zeno's slight discomfort as he puffed out his cheeks, clearly annoyed at not being recognized.
How dare you! I am Zeno-sama, the king of everything!
Goku, noticing his brother's growing frustration, quickly crouched down beside him, placing a hand on his shoulder and using his calm yet cheerful voice to distract him. Take it easy, Zeno. I'm sure Jiren didn't do it on purpose. Maybe he's so focused on training that he didn't realize who you are. Zeno crossed his arms, letting out a small while Goku managed to distract him by pointing to a large nearby rock. Look, why don't we try throwing it to see who can send it farther? I bet you'll win!
Yes, I always win!
Meanwhile, the Grand Priest stepped forward toward Jiren, inclining his head slightly in respect, though his voice remained firm. Jiren, warrior of Universe 11, it seems you do not recognize those before you. Allow me to enlighten you. Jiren raised an eyebrow, curious but maintaining his guard. This is Goku, the brother of none other than Zeno-sama, and the child playing with that rock is the king of everything, the being who rules over all 12 universes. For a moment, Jiren remained silent, processing the information. His gaze shifted to Zeno, who at that moment was tossing the rock into the air with Goku's help. Despite the explanation, Jiren appeared skeptical. That child, the king of everything? The Grand Priest let out a barely perceptible sigh, while Goku laughed in the background. Hard to believe, isn't it? But I promise it's true! Zeno, now calm and in good spirits, returned to the Grand Priest's side and pointed enthusiastically at Jiren.
Goku-ni-chan wants to fight you! They say you're really strong!
Is that true? Of course! I've heard a lot about you, Jiren! The warrior from Universe 11 remained silent for a few more seconds, assessing the group. Finally, he let out a small sigh and relaxed his stance. Very well, but don't expect me to hold back.
Yes, a fight! I want to see it now!
The Grand Priest stepped back, observing with a faint smile as the air around them grew heavy with the auras of Goku and Jiren. Zeno jumped excitedly in place, waving his arms and clapping like a child who had just received the best gift in the universe.
Goku-ni-chan is going to fight! This will be amazing, Grand Priest! Look!
The Grand Priest watched the scene calmly, though a faint smile played on his lips, pleased to see Zeno enjoying himself so much. Meanwhile, Goku stepped forward, relaxing his shoulders, though his eyes reflected unmistakable intensity. I've been waiting for this, Jiren. I know you're strong, but I want to see just how strong you really are! Goku began to release his divine ki, an aura of silver intertwined with golden hues enveloping him, with tiny sparks crackling around him. His energy felt like a steady river's flow, yet carried the promise of a devastating torrent if unleashed. Jiren, arms crossed, observed him with his characteristic calm and skepticism. Your energy, it's different. Clearly not that of a mortal. But that doesn't guarantee your strength. I guess you'll have to find out. The Saiyan flexed his legs, adopting his signature fighting stance. His tail, which he still possessed, swayed slowly from side to side, part of the choreography of his concentration. Zeno, unable to contain his excitement, began floating around him, his eyes shining with anticipation.
Goku-ni-chan, give it your all! Jiren, don't hold back! I want to see an epic fight!
Jiren finally dropped his arms and stepped forward, his serious gaze fixed on Goku. Though he still seemed skeptical, he began releasing a portion of his own power. His reddish aura enveloped him like a silent fire, and the ground beneath his feet trembled slightly. Very well. I'll show you enough to make it clear I'm not someone you can defeat easily. The two warriors locked eyes, and for a moment, the air around them seemed to freeze, as if the universe itself held its breath. This is going to be fun. They both launched themselves at each other simultaneously, colliding in the middle of the battlefield with such force that a shockwave shook the entire area, ripping rocks from the ground and sending Zeno and the Grand Priest backward, though the latter remained composed and unfazed. Goku appeared in front of Jiren with speed that defied perception, throwing a direct punch at the Universe 11 warrior's torso. The sound of the impact reverberated like thunder, and the ground beneath them shattered into countless fragments. What kind of energy is this? Goku didn't waste any time. Taking advantage of Jiren's momentary surprise, he spun on his axis and aimed a kick at the warrior's side. Jiren blocked the attack with his forearm, but the force was enough to push him back several meters, leaving a trail across the broken terrain. Wow, you're tough! Glad you didn't go down with that one. This is getting interesting. Zeno floated nearby, spinning around the Grand Priest and waving his arms.
Grand Priest, did you see that? Goku-ni-chan is amazing! Did you see how he made Jiren move?
Yes, great Zeno-sama. His strength is truly extraordinary. Jiren dropped his arms to his sides, adjusting his stance. Now his expression was one of pure concentration. I admit, I underestimated you. I won't make that mistake again. Jiren's reddish aura intensified, surrounding him like a blazing fire that seemed to distort the air around him. Goku observed him with fascination, his own energy fluctuating in waves of silver and gold. The two warriors charged at each other again. This time, the clash of their blows not only shook the terrain, but also felt as though the very fabric of space and time was trembling. Every impact unleashed gusts of wind and energy explosions that illuminated the battlefield.
Goku-ni-chan is the best! Jiren is strong too, but Goku-ni-chan will win!
I wouldn't expect anything less from you, Jiren. But I'm not showing everything yet! With a powerful shout, Goku intensified his divine ki, and the silver aura around him grew brighter, almost blinding. The ground began to levitate in fragments, and the skies above darkened, as if the power of the two warriors was absorbing the very light itself. Jiren closed his eyes for a moment, focusing deeply as his body began to emit an even more intense aura, a fiery red burning fiercely around him. The temperature on the battlefield seemed to rise, and the air itself vibrated with the colossal power Jiren was unleashing. I don't usually do this, but it's clear I can't hold back against you. The fiery red aura doubled in size and density. Every muscle in his body was perfectly defined, highlighting the magnitude of his transformation into full power. The ground beneath his feet disintegrated into dust, unable to withstand the pressure of his energy. Goku stepped back a few paces, his eyes gleaming with excitement. So, you're finally getting serious, Jiren. This is what I was waiting for.
Wow! Grand Priest, look at that! Jiren is glowing like a giant flame!
This is Jiren's true power, great Zeno-sama. It's a rare sight even in the multiverse. Goku got into position, his own ki fluctuating between gold and silver, with brilliant flashes illuminating the battlefield. Jiren dashed toward Goku with incredible speed, and the impact of his first strike reverberated like thunder. Goku barely had time to cross his arms to block, but the force sent him flying backward, crashing through several mountains before coming to a stop. What a punch! This is going to be even more fun than I thought! Goku disappeared in a flash of light, reappearing in front of Jiren in the blink of an eye. The two began exchanging blows at such high speed that their movements were barely visible, each clash of their fists unleashing energy explosions that shook the ground and made the skies tremble. Zeno continued clapping and shouting excitedly.
Goku-ni-chan and Jiren are destroying everything! This is amazing!
Despite their immense strength, the fight remained evenly matched. Goku, with his experience and skill, managed to dodge and counter Jiren's attacks, but the intensity and endurance of the Universe 11 warrior didn't waver in the slightest. You're unlike any opponent I've faced before, but I won't stop until I defeat you. I feel the same way. Show me what you're made of. Both warriors let out a battle cry as their energy surged to new levels. The stars in the sky seemed to momentarily dim. The fight between Goku and Jiren reached new heights, not just in power, but also in scale. Their overwhelming energy forced the battle off the planet, propelling them into the skies. The atmosphere shattered in their wake, and the vastness of space lit up with the impact of their clashes. The echoes of their battle were so powerful that they rippled through the void, creating shockwaves that obliterated nearby gas planets. Hey, Jiren! Let's take this elsewhere, or this planet won't survive.
The planet doesn't matter. I won't stop until I defeat you.
Without warning, Jiren used his momentum to ascend even higher, piercing through the atmosphere and into the vacuum of space. Goku followed without hesitation, his aura blazing through the cosmos like a shooting star. The two warriors continued exchanging blows at impossible speeds, leaving trails of light that painted fleeting patterns in the void.
Look, Grand Priest, it's like they're making fireworks in space! How fun!
Yes, Great Zeno. The magnitude of their power is such that the force of their attacks is disintegrating entire planets. This fight could alter the course of an entire galaxy if left unchecked. Sensing the destruction around them, Goku decided to change his approach. Moving quickly and decisively, he channeled his ki and surrounded his body with a radiant golden aura before vanishing in a burst of light. Jiren followed, but Goku had already moved into the open void, distancing their battle from any inhabited planets. This is more fun! Now it's all about who can last the longest! The combatants clashed in the vacuum of space, where the collision of their energies reverberated across the galaxy. Each blow from Goku and Jiren caused explosions that distorted the fabric of space, creating rifts in reality itself. Yet, for Zeno and the Grand Priest, watching safely from afar, it was a mesmerizing spectacle.
It's like a cosmic fireworks show! I want to see more, more, more!
The Grand Priest watched with a serious yet impressed expression, recognizing the sheer level of power Goku was displaying. Goku wasn't just an extraordinary fighter, he was a being with absolute control over his energy, divine in nature but driven by a love for battle that made him unparalleled. This one is truly unique. Not even Jiren's strength matches that level of mastery. The void vibrated with the waves of energy from their fight, and the entire universe, its remotest regions and its nearest worlds alike, seemed to be watching this display of titanic forces. The battle raged on without pause, both warriors exhausted but showing no signs of giving up. Goku, with his golden aura shining brilliantly, traded blows with Jiren, whose powerful waves of energy were barely being held at bay. However, the atmosphere was shifting. Goku, his expression serious, began gathering energy in his hands, his ki rising to such extreme levels that space itself seemed to warp around him. It's time to end this, Jiren! Watch closely! Suddenly, a blinding flash appeared in Goku's hands as he concentrated his energy into a single point, his fingers aimed at Jiren, who hovered in mid-air, momentarily taken aback by Goku's maneuver. In one swift motion, Goku unleashed a beam of pure energy that streaked through space with such speed that the void itself compressed in its wake. The beam struck Jiren directly. Though he tried to block it with his own ki, Goku's power was overwhelming, blasting him backward across the vacuum of space, through layers of atmosphere, and back to the planet where their battle had begun.
This is impossible!
The explosion of energy upon impact created a shockwave so massive that the entire planet trembled. Mountains and oceans were wiped away by the force, leaving nothing but a crater where the beam had struck.
Wow, that was incredible! Grand Priest, did you see that? It was like a supernova wiped everything out!
A decisive blow, Great Zeno. No matter how strong Jiren is, he won't be able to continue after that. Goku landed softly on the planet, looking toward the crater where Jiren had fallen. The air still crackled with the residual energy of their titanic battle, but silence now reigned. That's it. Sorry, Jiren, but this fight is over. In the distance, a figure emerged from the smoke and debris. Jiren, battered and exhausted, rose slowly, his aura diminished but his fierce gaze unwavering. He had survived the attack but was clearly at his limit.
It's not over yet, Goku.
It's over, Jiren. You don't need to keep fighting. There's no one else in this universe who can compare to you, or to me. With a smile, Goku extended his hand to Jiren, offering a truce. He knew that while Jiren was an impressive warrior, this battlefield wasn't where his destiny lay. Even in his base form, Goku's power was beyond comparison.
That was so cool! I love it when Goku fights!
The Grand Priest, observing Goku and Jiren, finally allowed himself a small sigh of relief. The battle had concluded, and Goku's power had achieved what was expected of the younger Omni King. The fight between Goku and Jiren was over. The air still hummed with the remnants of their energy as Jiren rested and caught his breath. Meanwhile, Goku approached the Grand Priest with an enthusiastic expression, his smile reflecting his eternal thirst for combat and new challenges. Hey, Grand Priest, what other multiverses are out there? I'm starting to enjoy fighting in space, but where else can I find opponents who really can give me a challenge? The Grand Priest looked at him with a mix of respect and amusement. He knew Goku would never stop seeking ways to test his limits, but the vastness of the multiverse was nearly infinite, and even he, the angel, couldn't foresee all the corners where a warrior like Goku might find his perfect opponent. There are too many universes to choose from, Goku-sama. Some have warriors who could challenge even the strongest, and others have creatures you couldn't even imagine. But if you're interested, we could stay here in Universe 11 a little longer. The god of destruction, Vermud, is known to be an unpredictable fighter. His power is not to be underestimated, and perhaps you'd find it amusing to test your luck against him. Goku grinned widely, relishing the idea of a new fight. That sounds great! Vermud, huh? I hope he gives me a good workout. Zeno, bouncing with excitement, quickly chimed in. His curiosity and love for battles were evident in his demeanor, and he couldn't wait to see what would happen next.
Yes, yes! Let's go see how Vermud fights! This is gonna be so much fun!
The Grand Priest, noting both Goku and Zeno's enthusiasm, nodded with a slight smile, knowing this was only the beginning of more epic battles to come. Very well then, we shall head to Vermud's palace. Prepare yourselves, it could be interesting. Goku nodded eagerly, his eyes gleaming with a mix of determination and delight. Zeno, for his part, seemed happier than ever, clapping and cheering for the adventures yet to unfold.